Welcome to Say More, episode 3, featuring Ubaru, Sinferna, and Treyblob. How are we doing today, everybody?
Yo, doing good.
Hi.
Hello.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
How was your guys' weeks?
I went bowling yesterday, and I messed up my, I don't even know, like my whole upper or lower arm, I guess, right from my wrist down to my elbow. So just from throwing the bowling ball, I guess, because I haven't done it in a while, and my RSI combined, like, yeah, totally just messed up my whole day. So I was doing Coliseum earlier today on stream, and it's definitely hard. I died a lot, but it was fun.
Oh,
Damn.
man. I hope
sorry.
you feel better soon. That sucks. RSIs are the worst, especially if you're a gamer.
Yeah, I've been doing those like Naruto, like weird stretches. Like there's this guy that Hey Jace was like, yeah, I do this like exercise like every day because of this guy, and it like cured my RSI. And then on the video, the dude's just doing like a Naruto pose, just like doing the weirdest things, but it actually does like stretch your arm and like your like everything around like your arm socket. It's really nice.
I think I know
Very weird.
exactly which guy you're talking about. Does he have like a black shirt on in the video? It's like navy blue or something on YouTube.
Yeah, I could find it. It's just like a normal like white dude with like a
just
short
a normal,
brown hair.
like nice looking guy. Yeah.
Yeah, just normal looking dude, just doing the Naruto
Guys,
pose.
just watch this video on repeat. Yeah. No, I feel like those Naruto, I feel like I know what you're talking about, and they work pretty well. I mean, it really is just like another like ligament or muscle or whatever. You just got to stretch it, you know? It helps out. So
strengthen it. Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened though. Did you bowl like a good game at least, or did you?
I think the highest I had was like 108, so not
Alright,
good. But
that's decent for me.
That's
I mean,
tough.
it's
That's
just
tough.
average.
As long as
average,
it's
I think.
triple digits, I feel good about myself. I'm like, all right, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, bowl of 70 the first game. It's not looking good.
Yeah, it's never at that point you have to pretend like, oh, I just wasn't taking this seriously anyway. Like, so now I'm just gonna be the clown of the group. You have to like almost like lean into the clown role. Like, yeah, I'm just fucking around, guys. Ha, I'm actually pretty good at this, but I'm not today. I'm just gonna troll around because this is funny, right, guys?
Just hanging out, guys.
What about you, Sin? How was your week?
Oh, it was a week. I'm back in school, so it was just a lot of assignments, and
Ooh, okay.
studying and coding and, the whole shebang. That's about it. Nothing special.
Trey?
Work's been shit. RuneScape's been good, as usual. Been on the Hydra grind recently. I have a quick question without derailing us too much here. So I'm on a Hydra task right now, and this will be my 900th task. So where do you guys land on I've never canceled my streak on either of my accounts before, and I'm considering when I hit 900 canceling my streak, because I feel like I'm at a point in my account where there's maybe like 3 or 4 tasks that I really care about. I have a heart already, and I just need to kind of finish off a couple places for the most part with Slayer. I'm 200k to 99 still, so it's really tempting, but it's really scary. I don't know. Where do you guys land on that?
I land on the never give up your task streak. I think it's just something to maintain. I've never destroyed my task streak on Sae Bae, and I'm very proud of it. I don't know actually what it is, but it's pretty high up there. But I would just say keep sending it if you're already this far. I don't know.
At least go for 1,000 for sure. I'm in like the Turiel skipping camp, so like you should not just consider anything I have to say because I'm just trying to go for like Inferno tasks and stuff that like don't matter for most people. But
Me too.
yeah, I'd say just go for the 1,000, and then like it's a good milestone, and then from there you can kind of decide what you want to do, or like if you got to rebuild your tasks with the new Slayer update. That's what I did.
Yeah,
I went to like all 4 of them, and then kind of just built out what I wanted for the bosses and the pets that I already have.
Yeah, fair enough. But Hydra's been going well. I got this little sucker behind me a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
Very
yeah.
cute.
That
Mid 500 KC, but no claw yet, but I'll take it.
I guess to answer my week, it was good because my girlfriend flew out and she was only out.
We
I
get
don't know if
it.
you guys knew, but I have a girlfriend now. But
What?
yeah, she came out, but it was the shortest trip ever. It was like 40 total hours. She came out like super late Friday, and then she just left this afternoon. I dropped her off at the airport at like 2. And so it was just like the shortest trip, but it was so good. We had like lunch with my parents. I went over to my brother-in-law and sisters. We like watched a movie, got a little drunk, and it was just fucking hilarious. It was just so fun. And yeah, it was just a really good time. So great week for me personally. It was good.
So it
Hell
sounds
yeah.
like you were like
That's
pretty like
awesome.
max F with those 40 hours.
Oh yeah, we were milking it. They have this I don't know if you guys have BJ's where you guys are. Not BJ,
Yeah.
okay, like the restaurant, you know.
It's like I
Where'd
know
you
what
go?
that is, but the way you made it sound horrible. The way
You guys know what BJ's are? I don't know if you guys ever had
Yeah,
girlfriends before.
yeah.
Not up in Canada. I don't think so.
BJ's Brew House. It's like a restaurant. Anyway, for their like Halloween theme, they have this like spooky bathtub drink. And so it literally comes in a bathtub and you drink out of it with like a straw. And it's just like some like orange sort of like 5 different sort of shots mixed. And it has like a fucking rubber ducky like floating on top with like a little thing. It's just so fucking cute. Anyway, we had one of those.
So you're like drinking bath water pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. I'm really excited for this week. We have some good topics. And the first one I want to ask all of you is, what do you think the next Raids theme will be? Raids 4.
My hunch is just based on what they announced at RuneFest that they're gonna like finish like the Mauritania storyline. And maybe it could be like a continuation of like Tob 2 kind of.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they could do some pretty cool stuff with that. Tob is like just like such an iconic raid. That's my guess.
That's fair.
I was thinking it was going to be something related to sailing, because like when I did the sailing alpha, like it was very spread out, and I know Sater, you said in your video when you're making it that like there were not enough islands and there was nothing really to occupy the water. And what I thought was that there's going to be a huge like raids area where you're going to have to need like X amount of sailing to sail to. Maybe it's like 60, 80, whatever it's going to be. And then like it's going to be like a huge port in the middle of the water, and you'll get a telly to go to it at some point or whatever. But I feel like it'll be sailing related, or at least accessible to get to. And then it might be water themed. I guess the next lineage for like getting an item would be like a range item. So like for like a mega rare. So I don't really know what it would be, but I think it would be somewhat related to sailing in some way.
If they did a sailing raid, they need to make it not have a sailing requirement to get to, because I think that would probably rub people the wrong way. If it's like, if it comes out like really close to when sailing initially comes out and you have to have like 70 sailing to even get to the raid, I could see that being an issue with people.
Yeah,
I feel like it'd be down the line, but then again, who knows really?
I'm pretty sure if they drop sailing this year, which who knows, I think they still plan on doing that. That's what it said in the blog. They're still planning on dropping it this year. So if Raids 4 comes out like next fall, like super late, like maybe Raids 4 comes out August or November of next year, I feel like you have plenty of time to get, I don't know, even if they're a requirement, I feel like a reasonable requirement would be like 50 sailing, 60 sailing or something that you could literally get in a couple days, just fucking easily. If you're just logged in, you're like, I just want to do raids. I was like, all right, go train sailing for like literally 20 hours and you'll be fine. There will
What kind of like bosses?
Yeah.
What kind of bosses do you guys think a raid like that would have? Like, what do you guys think they could do with that?
I think they're going to try to really focus on no modifiers, no invocations, just a pure Tob-based raid. Not Tob-based raid, but just like that style of just bosses. I really want it to be one set difficulty personally. And I think the bosses, you know what, one thing we haven't had in a minute is a boss that's just a human, like a sort of like 1x1 human that you fight. I think there's something in my books. I think that there's something kind of cool about that. I feel like with raids, maybe that can't work feasibly because you usually have a party of people and attacking a 1x1 can be a little bit like jank. But I do think it would be cool to have just some motherfucker that's just so badass that's like, yeah, come fight this guy. He's like I don't know, just some legendary
like Davy
warrior.
Jones.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I like the humanoid aspect though. I'll just say that, like, something human makes it seem more like dark. I like the sort of dark theme of like some evil fucking human you have to kill. I like it. Yeah.
I've wanted like an in-game 1x1 humanoid boss for a while as well, because I remember when DT2 came out, there's that part where you see the names of all the like the bosses that you're going to go fight. And I remember seeing Duke Succulus, and I was imagining like, like a Duke, like kind of like a royalty guy with like, like a rapier or something, and having this like intense like fencing feeling fight, and it was not that. So for my answer, I hate to do it, but I have to plug our podcast, Wilderness Podcast, because about a month ago we released our longest episode we've ever released, and it was all about Raids 4, 5-hour episode. So go check that out if you got a spare 5 hours. Yeah, we talked about everything that could, all the possible places that a new raid could be in. And then me and my co-host of that episode, Winter Split, we both pitched our own raids. So I had a full Raids 4 pitch. And I went with a Fremennik raid because I just love the idea of like,
cool.
like a Norse themed raid, like, all in the snow, like ascending a mountain and stuff. So that's the theme I want. Sailing makes the most sense to really sell their new skill. So that's what I think it will be. And I know a lot of people have said Tob 2. And actually, my co-host on that episode, he pitched a Mauritania raid that was very different from Tob, which I thought was cool because I was like, well, you can't do another raid in Mauritania right away. So that could definitely be a thing. But my takeaway from when people say they want the next raid to be like Tob instead of Tob 2, it's like, well, the feeling of Tob could be in any theme. The sailing raid could feel just like Tob as far as like Tob is just fun. So I hope whatever the theme is, they can apply the good parts of Tob to it, and make it, just take the puzzles out. I guess that's really all it comes down to make it more like Tob. But
the puzzles are always just so difficult because you have to sort of scale it between a 1-man and a, 8-man or larger. That just feels like no matter what, it muddies the water. It makes it so it's just not super well designed because you have to design a puzzle that can be completed with a one person or multiple people. And I just feel like inherently you can never come out with something that's too like fun. I feel like it's just like going to be some baby toddler-esque sort of puzzle that's just stupid and just wastes your time for no reason. So I feel like the only puzzles they could really do, and I'm still against them, I still feel like Raids does not need puzzles, but the only puzzles that really would work is something like a Yama sort of agility, sort of like rhythm-based puzzle that's just purely rhythmic, getting to like a new little area. Like if you had to jump to like a certain island with these like stepping stones, I feel like that alone would be like just enough. Like, okay, cool. There's your little fun, but nothing crazy to use your brain.
Kind of like soap maze then, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly that. If they had some sort of soap maze thing to just get to the boss, I actually don't think people would be super irritated with that. It's just like, whatever, no. This is a one-time thing to get to this boss, and it's fun because you just run there, basically.
I agree. Like, it's like, what, 8 ticks out of my life? It's fine.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I think it's kind of fun, Like, it would be cool if there's, like, flames shooting up and stuff. It's just, and it feels like it's not even a puzzle to get to the boss. It's like, that is the start of the boss. The start of the boss is you kind of dodging these flames on the floor and then attacking the boss. Like, I think that alone would be enough. But I feel like they already throw that kind of stuff in with most bosses these days, like little breaks that kind of switch things up, transitional phases that feel good. I don't know. But to answer the question, like at least theme-wise, I do like the Fremennik vibe. Think of like a Lumbridge swamp raid that's just there. That might sound crazy, but like, just think about it. There's some area in the like southern part of Lumbridge Swamp that is just like the lobby for a new raid. Maybe that not for Raids 4, but I think there's something kind of cool about like a starting area, sort of having that little hub of like end game players showing up. I don't know. Some kind of
yeah. I see the vision there. Cool. I see the vision. Yeah. I could see
maybe
that.
What you could do is have some kind of like it's in Lumbridge and you go into some kind of like Stranger Things upside down and you're fighting these like grotesque versions of all these like starter bosses in the game from like the surrounding.
Okay.
Yeah, like Nightmare Zone, but cool.
Yeah, Nightmare Zone, but it doesn't suck ass. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, like there's a goblin boss that's like a 4x4 and is this huge monstrosity or something.
Dude, speaking of like goblin raids and stuff, I swear to God, they need to continue more with like this sort of medieval theme of dungeons, and they need to bring it into like the mid and early game. And I would love to see a sort of Varrock sewer-esque thing that is simply it's like a mini raid. It really is like a newbie raid. It's like you go down into a fucking sewer. Maybe it is in Varrock, maybe it's in Lumbridge, maybe it's in Falador. You go down and there is just a little mini raid to do, and you have to you basically have to have like 3 people with you. And it's not, it wouldn't be something where you would just do it if you're a noob. You could bring your Giga Chad friends. So like something Jagex has always wanted is they've wanted new players that are jumping into the game to be able to participate with their friends that are like maxed. And there's just no fucking content where any max player wants to associate with their newbie friends, you know? But I really do think some sort of raid where like you go in and to get to the next door, like think of Varrock sewers where there's like zombies and stuff. You have to just kill a bunch of enemies in this area and then you get to the next door. So like your newbie friend can help you out, and if you're the max person, you can also just help out massively by like clearing out all these mobs and stuff. And then you get to the next room, maybe there's like a little demi boss you guys can just help kill, and then by the end you get like a little treasure chest or something like that. Some sort of like really medieval themed sort of baby raid. I don't know. I would love that kind of style.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that. But and if they add that, then stop adding entry modes to like raids, like the harder end raids.
I feel like they're going to keep doing the entry modes personally. I do think the best system though is to release only the normal version and then a few weeks later have the challenge mode, because they will have data to back up like how to like make it more difficult and fair, and then have the entry mode. But the last thing I want to see on release of a Raids 4 is the entry mode there right from the release. I just think there's something more special about people not being able to get a completion for a while. Even though, I don't know, maybe that's something from the past. What do you guys think? Do you think that people will struggle with any new content in the future?
It's obviously getting harder and harder the better that everyone gets at the game. If you guys remember how TOB was, it took like 3 days for the first game.
Yeah.
I still look back at those streams. Yeah, I still look back at those VODs of their like POVs doing it.
It was so iconic. And now the closest, or like the longest I think it's taken anyone to do any content was what? Was it Awakened? And that was like what, like 10 hours or something?
I think Coliseum was almost 24 hours.
Oh,
almost
Coliseum,
24, but
that's
not
the
even.
one. Yeah, less than a day. And I mean, even that, like, I don't know, I think there's always like, I think the community will always enjoy that, like watching people go for the first completions and stuff. So I think it like, yeah, it would be great to get back to it taking like multiple days for people to get first completions, but I just don't see it happening anymore now that everyone's like so insane.
Yeah. What is the story behind your RSN? I will start. Sae Bae is my RSN. I'll say Squat. Oh, Squat Cam is my name now. I guess I'll like lightly touch on that. But there was a girl in high school who. So my actual name is Sater, and she just, I don't know, maybe based on like some song or something, she just randomly called me Sae Bae, and she was a cute girl. And so I was like, I'd really like that she called me Sae Bae. That's fucking awesome. So Sae Bae was kind of like my thing for a bit. I would just like brand all my shit Sae Bae, like my Instagram and stuff. And then it eventually just got shortened. Actually, with this account, my name changed to Sae Bae, and I was like, I'd really like that. And yeah, that's kind of like where it sort of came from, and I've just always liked it. And Squat Cam is just me having done squats on stream, and as soon as I saw Squat Cam was available, I took it. And it only took about 8 hours for me to kind of regret it, but I couldn't like admit that I regretted it, and so I just kept it. I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy that just keeps fucking name changing. I gotta have something that sticks. So
I feel like once you pick like a bad name, you just have to like own it, because like that's how mine is. Yeah, because for mine. Well, my name's Ubaru, which is like a playoff of Subaru without an S. But then my main account was Ubaru, so I'm like, what am I gonna name this account? And then the names, like in the past episode that we talked about, where my name got stolen, so I had like a NPC name, and I was gonna put it on this account. And then it got stolen. I was like, man, like fuck it, I'll just do like an all caps like name you'll see in the wilderness that you should be scared of. Then I was like, maybe I'll just make it a stupid name. So then I tried to make it Dookie Cheese, like Dookie Cheese, just as like a goofy name. And then that was taken, and I was like, let me try Bunger Cheese, like a burger, but spell it wrong. And then it stuck. So now, like, I'm just Bunger Cheese, all caps, and I like it because it's goofy.
Fuck yeah.
That's about it.
So mine is Treyblob was my nickname as a kid, because I guess as a baby, my grandpa's name was Robert, and so I was a bald baby, obviously. So all my older brothers
Hell
called
yeah.
me they called me Treyblob, and then I guess I was fat also, so it eventually became Treyblob.
Oh
And
wow.
so that was just kind of like a family name, like, and yeah, I just made it my RuneScape name and ended up, obviously playing that account for a very long time. And then when I started my Iron, I remembered like having this feeling on my main of like, I don't know, you'd see something funny and there'd be times where I wanted to change my name, but it just kind of felt like I had to keep it. So when I made my Iron, I kind of made this goal to change my username like every time it was available, or every, just as much as I could, just to kind of keep it fresh and kind of play around with it. And I had a few different like plays on Treyblob, and then it kind of turned into this thing. I think it was I did Trey Tob, and I ended up learning Tob, and I stayed there until I got my first purple there. And now it's turned into this thing within our community of I changed my name to whatever my current like goal is. So my name right now is Trey Tread, so obviously going for treads. And yeah, I just finished Trey Yama, I got full oath plate. So it's been kind of this way of keeping track of what my long-term goal is for my account.
I love
yeah,
that.
That's cool. I like that.
I came up with the RSN Sinferna when I came back to Old School. So in like 2016, and basically the way that it came about was I was like, okay, like I'm making an account on this game and I want it to be something that sounds really like phonetically pleasing, like something that sounds like super like fantastical, like it could be out of like Lord of the Rings or some shit, right? And so I sat on my bed with a pen and a notepad and I was just writing down different words that I thought sounded nice. I was like truly in the lab for this. And then and then I was like combining all these different words, and I saw the word sin and I saw the word inferno. I was like, "Huh, okay." And I put them together, and then I added an A at the end instead of an O to make it Sinferna, just because it sounds, I don't know, a little bit more like feminine. And
Mhm.
there we go. Yeah, that's it.
Damn.
That was how it came about. It was like very methodical.
Calculated, yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
fucking clean though. It is a really good name. It feels like
Thanks.
it should be a fantasy name from like some character in like a movie or a video game.
Yeah. I've gotten this name like just Inferno on like TikTok and like a couple of other places. So
It's hard to lock down like getting your name on a bunch of things. So like especially making up a name that doesn't exist, like just as like a word and like combining two words. Like it's pretty cool.
What is the most shameful part of your gaming setup?
oh my God, don't even get me started. Okay, so I have a very nice gaming setup. Like I invested a pretty penny into making it look clean and just like aesthetically pleasing. And so it's a lot of it is like I'm like going for sort of like the all white theme, right? And so like my standing desk is all white, like my some of my peripherals, etc. And so I needed a new headset. And on Amazon, I think I just went for like just some random like kind of like mid-range like lower priced mid-range price one. I got a Razer Barracuda and it just fucking sucks. Like I can't explain how bad it like crashes my fucking Valorant all the time. And
Fuck.
like it's just there's just been so much fucked up shit that's happened with it. So yeah, now I'm just waiting for its demise before I can like justify buying another one.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so that's the most shameful, horrid part of my setup.
Mine is definitely the trash bin that is still propping up my whole PC. So it's actually so bad. And I would say that's probably I'd say that's the most shameful. The second most shameful is just my cord setup. I feel like if you have a sit stand desk, it almost is necessary to have your cord management kind of shitty because there just needs to be so much slack for your cords. I know you could still
Yeah.
like perfectly set it up so you can just have like some slack but also make it look clean. I just don't have the fucking patience for that. But yeah, definitely the worst is the trash bin. It's been there. It at least matches because the trash bin, it's literally one of those like Amazon ones that like goes into your bathroom, you know, just like those kind of like rectangular ones that are kind of like curved on the edges. It's just face down with the PC on. And the only reason I have to do that is because I have a sit stand desk, so the cords like stretch too fucking much if it's all the way up. So I needed something to prop it up, and that's the thing that worked. So it really does feel a little bit unstable, but it hasn't fallen yet. And honestly, if it falls, I'd probably just invest in a new PC at that point. So maybe I'll just kick it one day, just like on purpose, and I'll be like, all right, oops, time to get a new one.
I just recently replaced them, but I'll count it, I guess. You might not count it, but I will. But I had 12 and 15-year-old monitors that were 1080p that I've had for that pretty much that long. They were either hand-me-downs or like I bought them at the thrift store, and they were already like 5, 6, 7 years old at that point. So I've just had like 60 hertz 1080p monitors with the worst delay you could ever see, and I just upgraded to 1440p monitors. I think one of them is 210 and one is like 100 for my side monitor, and they were like really cheap now comparatively to when I bought those ones. So it was pretty fucking awful to play any other game except RuneScape on those.
I was rocking a 75 hertz like when I first started playing. 2 different 75 hertz monitors, just basic LCD pieces of shit. And then my brother was like, hey, I have this 4K monitor that's like 28 inch. This is fucking massive. And I bring it in, and I realized that it's 60 fucking hertz. And it was genuine agony to play. just from a 75 hertz to 60 hertz was pure agony. I could not do it. I was like, this is horrible. And then I upgraded to 144, and now I'm like 240 gang. And I have to criticize you a little bit, Ubaru, but having 2 different refresh rates on your monitors is just like so ghetto. But, you know, respect for you at least upgrading. But like, I could not do that. It's so fucking painful when you move your mouse over to the other screen and it's just like laggier. It's just like, God.
You can't even tell. You literally can't even tell between them. It's from the same company. So it's from like a... Basically, it's the company that makes the panels for most manufacturers, but it's just the actual company. And they had rebates where, like, basically it was $1 per hertz. So, like, it was just a really good deal to buy it. Like, it was $100 for the other one, and then like less than $200 for the other one. And they're both really high speed, really nice monitors, 1440p. So I was like, you know, I'll just buy them for the rebate just because I'm saving money. Because for my second monitor, all it has is Spotify and like I don't have anything like intensive on the side monitor. It just like I read chat or have my OBS open on it. So
that's fair.
It's not like I'd necessarily need it, but
so the most like shameful part of my physical setup is probably when we moved into this house and we got the internet installed. The guy was like, "Oh, where do you want me to bring it into the house?" And I was like, "Oh, right in my office." So I have the router sitting right next to my PC, to the detriment of the entire house. So my PC, I have great internet. I'm hardwired in, and then we have shit Wi-Fi and the entire rest of the house. My bigger shame comes from inside the game itself. So when I first started playing Old School, I didn't know until a few years ago that you could move your camera with the middle mouse button.
No.
So I found a RuneLite setting to set it to right click, and that is very, very deep ingrained in my system now. And I use right click to move my mouse. It's gotten me killed. I've had to use plugins. Like I have the plugin to turn off examine on everything. I've had to do all kinds of workarounds because I cannot train myself to not do right click to move my camera. It's very shameful, and I don't think I'll ever like fix it.
Damn. Really? You're not even gonna like? I know it gets ingrained, but
I tried, yeah.
Yeah. How long did you try for though? Was it just like a session? Because I swear, like that shit takes like a week to like really ingrain.
Well, yeah, I haven't tried more than a session. You're right.
Okay.
I'm still used to it, but yeah, it's there's times you're trying to get away from a boss, you right click, and it's like talk to NPC, and then, yeah, you're dead.
That's horrible, dude.
I
That's
know, I know.
that is not optimal. I would, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm not trying to like force you to do anything, but I would really spend like a week just relearning that shit because you can relearn it. I promise. Like I've had to relearn some really weird shit in this game, and I'm talking like after 15,000 hours of getting used to something. Like, even changing like my spell books. I know that's not quite as essential as like just moving your camera every time, but like moving like your spells around, moving your prayers around and stuff, and like that shit took a while to get used to, but like a week I feel like you're balling after that.
What's the most shameful part of your setup? And then mine is like, whoa, we need to have an intervention.
We
Like,
do. That is
not okay.
I would say the same thing. Like if you were like a non-F key user, I've met people that are
wow.
like just I will never use F keys because I'm not used to it. I'm like, brother, like fucking
Banish them.
Yeah, like you're going to hate your life more and more and more the more content comes out because it's like essential. It's absolutely essential to use F keys.
Imagine not using F keys at like Inferno or some shit.
People do that. It's so cringe,
That's
and it's like
crazy.
their personality. And like I get it. Like it's really embarrassing.
Some
So
people
I
are just
understand
stubborn
why.
too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean that is the stubbornness, like in full display. It's like that's your personality now. It's like they will literally name themselves like no F key user.
Make it their whole identity.
Yeah, like
yeah.
that one. Who was that one guy that like refused to train Hunter on the release of Old School? So he was like max besides like Hunter, and it was just one Hunter. And I'm like, dude, it's just like nobody thinks this is cool, dude. Like just grind Hunter.
There's gonna be so many people like that with sailing.
And it'll be their personality. It's gonna be
Oh,
really
yeah.
painful. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
like okay, dude. I don't know about you guys, but my setup has evolved so much over the years. Okay, back when I was like super casual, like to Old School, like I used to play on a MacBook, like I used to, yeah, like it was just okay. Hold on, let me show you guys what my setup was.
oh,
I
let's
don't
see
think
this
you guys are
shit.
ready. I don't think you're ready.
I'm ready. Oh God.
Oh hell yeah!
At the family dining
Peak.
table. It was
Burn
because
has
that's
spotted on
when
the
I
on the
was
Discord. Let's
I
get
was
it.
only coming back to my parents' house for summers and stuff at this point because I was in England, living in England at this point for school. And whenever I'd come back for summers, this is how I would game.
I respect it because I
respectable,
feel
though.
like as a college kid, you kind of have the most jank setups. I used to play exclusively on my bed. And what I would do is I would either lay on my stomach and play. I swear to God, I could play for hours, like
my
all day, laying on my
God.
stomach. And then whenever it would get a little bit uncomfortable, I would just switch to my back and I'd put my pillow up against the wall because I didn't even have a bed frame. So I'd just like put it up against the wall and like sit for a little bit. But I would sit in a weird way where like only my head was on the wall. And then the rest of my back was slanted at like a 45-degree angle on my pillow. And then I would have my knees pointed up toward the air with my feet down. And I'd have my laptop screen laying on my thighs, and the laptop itself was laying on my stomach. So it'd just be fucking roasting hot on my stomach. It would just be burning. I would literally get numb from like my laptop just cooking my fucking innards. And and then
God.
I would switch
You know-
eventually to my stomach again.
You know that can cause like so it's called like marshmallow skin syndrome or something like that, where your skin just becomes like permanently damaged from like extended like heat
exposure.
like heat
Yeah.
heat exposure. Yeah, so some people get
Might
it.
have
if they use,
marshmallow
like, heating
syndrome.
pads and stuff.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, it's just like I think it changes the pigment of your skin and like your nerve endings and stuff can be affected. But oh my God, your poor
That
spine.
makes sense.
That's all I'm gonna say. God damn.
No, I was so young though. I literally I get more discomfort these days having a proper posture setup than I ever did back then. I could seriously
That's
be in
actually
any
true.
position. I was chilling.
That's so real.
I think I might have you beat on janky setups though, because I was so desperate to play RuneScape. So my brother like basically had thrown away a laptop that didn't work anymore. And so I started messing around with it and I got it working and I was playing RuneScape on it and then the fan went out. So I took off the bottom plastic of it and just set it on a box fan on the ground and turned it on to full blast. So I'm playing and I just have air just shooting up in my face the whole time. My eyes are like watering trying to play. But I made it work. And then the screen went out. And so then I found some old monitor in the basement and attached it to that. And I just had this like one of those old school giant monitors just setting on the ground next to it. And I'm crouched down. My eyes are watering. This laptop is just hanging on by a thread.
Oh my
And
god.
my most I just have this vivid memory of childhood of being at experiments and Mauritania and getting 50 attack, and it was like 9:30 at night, and I was like, I can finally go to bed, and I just felt so accomplished.
Jesus
Forgot
Christ.
about experiments, dude.
Yeah.
That was a crazy era to go
I thought
train
dude,
combats.
I thought I had found like this secret that nobody else knew about because I was like, dude, they have so many hit points and they have like don't do any damage, and I did all my those were my sand crabs back in the day.
That is a good feeling with any video game, but especially RuneScape, where it's like an MMO, is finding something you think nobody else has discovered. You come to realize it's actually like super inefficient, but you thought, at least for that perfect period of time, you just thought you were like the shit. And you're like, nobody knows
yeah.
about this. I'm not going to tell anybody.
That's how I felt with Dead Man mode when it first came out, because like there was so much hype, and especially like when they did like seasons and stuff, like you'd want to be the first person to go to like, I don't know, a hole in the wall where there's skeletons to go train, because they'll go you'll auto retaliate on them, and you'll do no work, you'll come back and not be dead because it's in some random quest location or something. Now it's like a lot different, and I think there's a lot less people that play. So I think like someone's definitely thinking of the same type of thing though. You're like, oh yeah, this is crafty, but then they'll go hit you with chins and multi and you'll die or whatever. Get stacked out.
Dude, back in the day, I'd play Dungeoneering on a trackpad, right? And back then,
God.
I used to think I was so fucking sick, and like so good. But I get like obviously, like if I watch myself back now, like I'd be fucking ass, like like. But yeah, all about
Yeah.
perspective.
I feel like that could fall into the category of F keys, where there's probably trackpad people who make that their whole
Yeah.
personality too.
Yeah, mobile only's getting there, but it's like whatever. if that's your thing, go mobile only. That's
I'm
respect.
impressed by those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Do you think there will ever be another game mode released that revolutionizes the game, similar to Iron Man or UIM or even Leagues? Honestly, I feel like that's a fair game. What do you guys think?
Basically a hardcore WoW, but for RuneScape mains. So like anywhere inside the game is a death if you die, including mini games, including whatever, to get items to sell, and then it would be like its own separate servers that would basically have its own value system, which I assume people would swap to and from, because you get a T-bow in chambers where like you can't die at all at any moment ever. It's going to be incredibly more expensive than a regular game T-bow would be, because it's on a fresh server economy where there's no T-bows if you're the first one to have it. Like it's, whatever price you want it to be. Leagues and Deadman and like all these other different game modes and Iron Man like have their own point. It helped continue RuneScape to be available, but I think that if they're going to keep going in this direction, I think Iron Man's kind of like coming to a halt in terms of like new ideas for it, and it's going to be more like different game modes like that, where it'd be like hardcore WoW.
For me, when I was thinking about this question, like it was hard to like imagine something that could, like a game mode that could be released that could be anywhere even near as successful as like the original Iron Man or something was, right? Like I don't even know like what they could do at this point, like a hardcore group ultimate Iron Man or some shit. Like yeah, I would have like, like the smallest player count ever, but I guess
Yeah.
that's like the only remaining combination left.
I kind of go the other way with it. I think, I kind of said in our last episode, I don't really get into the super duper restricted modes. And I think for a lot of the people who are into that, the fun of it is that it's not official. I mean, we saw when they proposed having all those like official restricted modes, people kind of didn't like that because it felt like you're having a good time. And then, it's like when the adults join Facebook, it's like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. The thing that my concept is something where more focused on getting people into the game who've never played it before. And, obviously one of the biggest problems with RuneScape for a lot of people is how slow the early game is. Like, I just want to raid with my friends. So I would be really interested to see an Iron Man mode that is like 5x XP and drop rates for everything, like to speed run to the content that people want to do to kind of get to see the full spectrum of the game. And it would have to be Iron Man, obviously, so you can't just every bot in the game, and it would be a different type of game mode where you could never transfer your items off of your account. Like it would have to have a whole set of restrictions to prevent all of the obvious like flaws with it, but kind of like a permanent leagues like XP modifier, but in the main game, so that somebody who has their friends saying like, dude, you gotta try this game out, and they're like, okay, well, can I play it with you? And so then they can like get up to raids ready. They're not going to be good at the game, but just to kind of get to see what the mid and end game kind of starts to look like, because I feel like the majority of those people, if they get hooked on it, they're going to be like, all right, I want to go play a real account now. But
Right.
that would kind of be my pitch. It has a lot of problems, but
Yeah, I think I really lean on hardcore main man mode, which I have talked about so fucking much. T-Papa brought it to my attention like a year and a half ago. Actually, it was just about a year ago because it was last summer. It's a fresh game mode. It's on different servers. Every single person you see around the game is a hardcore, which makes it so fucking exciting. Just knowing like there's so much tension in the air, it feels like. And I would love it if like dangerous random events came into those servers. And I think there's just something really refreshing about a brand new game world, like game server that is fully from scratch and it's permanent. I think there's something super fucking exciting. Mod Ash, when I had him on the cast, he said that he actually loved the idea, and I think he kind of hinted at the idea of them kind of testing that idea out with a like 6-month league type thing where it is a temporary at first, and then if it is very successful, they would go to like permanent. And I would just be obsessed with that. But if they don't do anything that's separate servers, I do like Mithril Man mode. Mithril Man mode is basically an Iron Man, but you can only trade other Mithril Men. So you're a Mithril Man, you can boss, you can do everything like a main account, but only with Mithril Men. And there's no grand exchange for you. So you'd have to do default like player-to-player trading amongst Mithril Men. And so it's almost like a fresh economy, but it's still in the main game. It allows you to still like do group bossing if you wanted to and group other things, but only with like your kind. And I feel like there is some excitement about a fresh sort of economy that doesn't have grand exchange attached to it. So you could be like a skiller and you could like sell your supplies and actually like mark it up pretty high. And then on top of that, you'd have like these little areas that are saturated where all the Mithril Men gather to like trade and do like classic bank sales. I'm pretty sure they'd come out with some RuneLite plugin or like some other third-party site where that just becomes completely simplified. But I still think in the early days, there'd be something really exciting about like Falador Park, for example, like all the Mithril Men gather. And then you'd have like some trolls that aren't Mithril Men saying they're selling something crazy and it's just not a fucking Mithril Man, which would be great. But I like
clearly,
that.
clearly I just didn't think about this hard enough, because that's like a really sick idea. Like, I like that.
Yeah, I think it kind of is like a little bit of a throwback to an older time. I don't know. There's something kind of charming about being able to just trade somebody or have a bank sale. Imagine a Mithril Man bank sale. Like there is no grand exchange. So like if you get really far ahead in the game and you get something cool, like I just think maybe I'm like over romanticizing it. Like maybe nobody would ever fucking do a bank sale, but I think a Mithril Man bank sale would be just hype. What update do you guys think would benefit the long-term health of the game most? So this can be literally anything. What's like something you would want to see in the game? Yeah.
So I have two kind of major things in mind. This is a question I've like discussed a lot with some of my friends. So I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I think like one of the biggest things they could do is completionist cape. I think it's about time. A cape that requires all CAs max cape, like music cape, just everything, achievement diary. Just consolidate all of that. Because I don't know. I think it would motivate people to go beyond a lot of like end game players to keep going. And hopefully it would give like medium level players something to like aspire to, especially if it's like a really cool cosmetic cape, one that you can completely customize the colors of, like you could in EOC, and one with I don't know how you guys feel about particle effects, but I personally think they look really nice. Like on a cape, I think they would look really cool. That's just me. That's just
I'd
me.
be down for that because it would be an old school flair of it. So it wouldn't
Yeah.
be as like RS3-esque. It would have that sort of old school flair of like little droplings from the Cape. Droplings? That
For
sounds
sure.
disgusting, but yeah.
For sure. And yeah, so I don't know. So that's one. And then number 2, okay, so I think that they need to take a clearer stance on exactly where they stand with services. There's just such a
Hmm.
gray area right there right now. Like I think they just need to just be like, okay, like everything is just banned because like any type of services are banned, like legal or not, like logins or whatever, like everything, like not login or login. Well, obviously logins are banned, but there's just like a monopoly of just like like a few like kind of like dozen like key players who are doing like all the like so much like so many CAs and stuff and just services in general. I just think that people kind of have started relying on services as a crutch, like even like the legal ones.
So
I think it would be nice for players to do things like the kind of harder way again, where they don't where it's harder to find a good team to do stuff.
So are you wanting them to draw a clear line, or is what you optimally are saying is just really ban all services, or do you just want them to make it very clear where the line is, regardless of where that is?
So yeah, I have a lot of friends who do services who would agree that they just need to be banned at
Hmm.
this point. Like purely like not for, like obviously they're not making money at that point, but they mean like purely for the health of the game. Like yeah, like
Hmm.
they think it needs to be dropped.
Yeah, we're at such a different era in RuneScape. I'm not really a part of this conversation, I feel like, ultimately, because I feel like it does kind of encapsulate more main accounts generally. Iron Man obviously still abuse it, but I feel like there's a widespread sentiment of like people just not giving a fuck what other people do now. And
Yeah.
I just don't see I don't see Jagex caring enough to enforce it, and I don't see players being riled up enough against it to like give a fuck if that ever did come in the game. Like I definitely understand there are people that are outspoken that are like, we gotta get rid of this, but I just feel like the game has become so much more like liberal with just do whatever you fucking want, sort of, as long as it's not affecting me, which I definitely have kind of lightened up my views on the game over time. So maybe this is just me being jaded. What do you guys think, Trey and Oob? Do you agree with me or disagree?
I kind of see myself as like, I mean, I'm definitely more in the camp of like, do whatever you want to do as long as it's legal. You know what I mean? Like, if you do something illegal, then like, you probably shouldn't do it if you care about your account. I had people come into my stream the other day being like, I bought Quiver, I bought Inferno Cape, they banned my account. He's like, I do it again. It's like, okay, for what? Like, they banned your account. Like, and I think it was just a troll coming in to try and fuck with me. But like, if that's a real guy and he feels that way, then like that's already like you're just doing that to like try and fuck over Jagex, but like you're wasting your own money. I don't know. There's people who are on two sides. I'm kind of just like, as long as it's legal, like do it. Like go get your bag if it's totally fine for you to do that, and go like help get CAs for people. But if it's like illegal, then obviously don't do that. That's just my opinion on it.
I maxed my main and abandoned it and created my Iron Man around the same time as you did, Satyr. And I think that knowing that I was starting an Iron Man in like 2024 and I was going to just be behind the majority of people starting over completely, I think I had to really kind of, mentally understand like every achievement I get, everything that I take pride in about my account, I'm doing it for myself. So all of kind of you're saying about how the game is changing and all of achievements don't feel like they mean things anymore. It's just for me, it always is like, well, what is satisfying to me personally about what I'm doing? And yeah, I just have to take all of the what anybody else is doing with their account out of the equation because I'm so far behind anyway. So I think my answer it's gonna sound like a cop out, and I thought of a lot of different answers to this. But really, what it came down to, like the most beneficial thing for the long term health of the game, Jagex is coming to me and saying, "What do we do?" My answer to them, in all honesty, would be just keep doing what you're doing, but don't overdo it. Because I think Jagex is doing everything right now. I think like, Varlamore is just absolute 10 out of 10, and sailing is starting to look really good. I've been fighting it and I'm having trouble fighting it because it's just looking better and better. Um, I do really worry, like my biggest problem with what they've been doing, and it's not a problem now, but if it continues, I think it will be a problem, is they're doing such a good job with these incremental upgrades. We're slotting the zombie axe right in between the dragon scimitar and the whip. It fits this niche really nicely. It fits that slot really nicely. But then if, they need this reward space, and so they add a weapon between the zombie axe and the whip, it just becomes like you're just going to start skipping that grind, or it becomes super tedious. Um, but where we stand right now, I just think where they are right now, what they're doing, they're kind of making all the right calls. They seem to actually be doing something about bots. They seem to like really be listening to the player base. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we need any huge sweeping changes. They really seem to be trying to give updates for every part of their community, and I'm optimistic where we're at right now.
There's a lot of things that come to my mind, honestly. There's a lot of sort of update features that I would love to see that would benefit the long-term health of the game, in my opinion. But I will say the thing that always just screams at me is botting. If they can really just pour resources into banning bots and really creating systems and creating even like getting P mods involved, like new P mods that have a set structure of like what you're supposed to do. And if you cross the lines, we will ban your account. Basically, there's a no abuse policy. Like, you cannot abuse this. If you do, we're going to ban your account. So this is like a privilege to be a P mod. And the P mods go around and they really have a lot more power than they've usually given. What I've heard is that they've only ever been able to give like 24-hour mutes or something at like the largest extent. And that's just like fucking pathetic with how much rampant advertising there is in the game, just from level 3 accounts with just a jumble of letters and numbers, and it's just everywhere. You could really invest a little bit. It really doesn't take much to get a lot of the auto chat, like advertising and all that shit, cleared out almost immediately. Like literally overnight, you could clear it out if you were to set up like a nice system for this. And then on top of that, just really hitting home on botting, so it becomes a sort of cultural thing that botting is just absolutely not okay. I know that already is the culture, but cultures can continuously get more and more pigeonholed in a good way, where like everybody sees botting as like, this is fucking bad for the game, and we all see the negative effects of it. So we're all going to be like, fuck botters, and we're going to actually go hard on this. And so bot busting, I love the fact that they do bot busting streams. I know it's just for entertainment's sake, but like getting that culture behind, bots are bad, and pushing that continuously, I think is just so good for the game. Because I swear to God, seeing bots on high scores is just the most depressing thing to see in this game. When you're looking at boss high scores, it usually just happens with main accounts. I don't think like it's really that big of a deal with Iron Man. But like when you are seeing the top 10, there's like 5 bots on it for Volcano or whatever. It's like, bro, like what the fuck? Like, get rid of this. And then you see like 200 mil thievers that are just botting, they're thieving, repeatedly getting blood shards. It's like, this is so apparent when all the rest of they're like a 1,000 total account with 200 mil thieving, and they're still thieving. Like, you got to ban these guys. It's just such a stain on the game. Really, the long-term thing for me is like just really focus in on botting and make it a serious thing for Jagex.
Most people, like majority of people, would agree. Obviously, like the bot farming bot, or like sorry, the boss farming bots and like the resource farming bots, like those ones are bad. But I feel like it would be hard to have the bots are bad mentality put on the people who just are botting, like just like the normie botters, just like.
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get what
It's
you're
like
saying.
botting like 70 thieving after after your shift at the steel factory, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The canon event right there.
Steel factory. Yeah.
Yeah. A change that I'd really like, honestly. It's such a fundamental thing for most MMOs, but like we need an increased player support team that's not automated. Like, I don't know if you guys recently saw, But there's a guy who had an issue with his account getting banned, and then the support team literally just retweeted it. They didn't even respond to
Yeah.
him.
Fuck.
That shit made me laugh out loud. Like, it's just so ridiculous.
That is so
Yeah.
bad. That's worse than he. They just replied he to that one guy.
Yeah.
That's actually worse. That's
Yeah.
a step up. That's impressive. I didn't think they could one up that. That's crazy.
And like when the common thing is people responding on Twitter to adding Jagex mods that literally don't do player support. Like they are literally just figureheads for Jagex. Like when they're adding Ash or adding literally anybody. Like they don't do that, but like Ash is the only person really who was responding because like he was just kind and like wants to like help people. You know, people take advantage of that and we're like assholes and became a whole thing where like nobody was really interacting with, or the mods weren't interacting with people. And like for a company that makes millions of dollars a year, you'd think they'd put more time into like having human people to help respond, or at least having a more transparent section for people to like accurately get support and not be talking to robots or just like like you don't even know if it's a real person at the time who's like when you're sending in reports, and sometimes you just can't even like they'll just auto deny your appeal. And I don't know, I think there needs to be more steps taken for people who are clearly getting false reported. Like even streamers get false reported. It's really bad. So I think like fundamentally, like that would be one huge step that just needs to be done, which they were like teasing with increasing membership prices for it. And it's like, how about you just do it? Like,
Yeah.
it should just be a thing that we don't have to pay extra money for to get extra support. Just do it.
They're making so much fucking money right now. Like just the fact that that we've hit multiple peaks this year with player count, like that is direct revenue for them. Like they're making fucking bank. And I feel like they really need to understand how fucking good of a position they're in and to not jeopardize it by just being comfortable. Like just make the game as good as you possibly can with player support and botting measures and all this stuff, because this is a game that truly can last for another like 20 years easily, but you have to not do stupid shit and milk your customers. Old School has such a good reputation right now, even with all the shit that they do. I feel like they have a very good reputation. It's mainly just because other gaming companies just have really shitty reputations. So Old School, like in relation to them, is just amazing. But yeah, they need to keep working on it because it's not something you can relax on. You need to keep showing that you're a good company that's doing your best for the player. And we're living in an era where if you make one fucking slip up, like that whole survey that they did, they probably thought it would just be swept under the rug, sort of like, oh, it was a little survey where we're just going to up the membership prices to like $30 or something for 8 accounts. Like that blows up so extremely in our day and age that you have to be so careful with like your PR moves. You got to be so pinpoint and like understanding what you're getting yourself into. And I love that culture personally because it does advantage like the player and like the consumer, the customer, you know? So I just feel like they have to be super careful because it takes one fucked up move where where Jagex digs their heels in that completely destroys the game. I kid you not. Like people will revolt. People will just be like, nope, fuck you. I'm not paying another membership. Like I know it's still Old School RuneScape, so there are people that are chronically addicted. But if you make a big enough blunder, look at what RS3 went through. You know, like their game actually imploded.
Dude,
it can happen.
Trade limit and then EOC, it was just...
Yeah, EOC being the big one, because I feel like we were all just children. Like I quit when the trade limit happened, but like most people were like, that was the golden era. I'm like, no, that was the fucking dog shit. These were some good questions. We took one from the community, and I feel like the rest were sort of brainstormed over the week. I really like that. But as always, if you guys have any cool topics or sort of general discussions that we can have for the next episode, leave it down in the comments. We appreciate you all watching. Seriously, this is just a really fun offshoot that we enjoy doing. But thank you all for listening. That's it for me.
Thank you for all the love that you guys have been showing us.
Thank you for watching. Check us out in the links below. We love you.
Yeah, what they said.
Nice.